After Rachel gave birth to Joseph, Jacob's heart stirred with a longing for home. Years had passed since he left Canaan with nothing but a staff in his hand, and now, with a large family and abundant flocks, he felt the time had come to return to the land of his fathers. He approached his father-in-law Laban and respectfully requested permission to take his wives and children and leave for his own country. But Laban, having observed firsthand how greatly he had prospered during Jacob's stay, was reluctant to let him go. Through divination, Laban realized that the Lord had blessed him because of Jacob. Desperate to keep the source of his wealth close, he pleaded, "Name your wages, and I will give it." Yet Jacob, wise and weary, made a proposal that seemed modest on the surface. He would continue tending Laban's flocks, but only keep the speckled, spotted, and dark-colored sheep and goats as his own. Laban quickly agreed, assuming Jacob's portion would remain small. But Jacob, through divine insight and careful breeding methods, ensured that the stronger animals bore speckled or spotted offspring. By placing striped branches in the animals' drinking troughs during mating season, he influenced their appearance. It was not mere strategy, it was the hand of God blessing Jacob's efforts. His flocks grew exceedingly large, and he became very prosperous, acquiring servants, camels, and donkeys. As Jacob's wealth increased, so did the tension. Laban's sons began to grumble, saying, "Jacob has taken all that was our father's. He has gained all this wealth from what belonged to him." Even Laban's demeanor toward Jacob grew cold and suspicious. Then the Lord spoke to Jacob, saying, "Return to the land of your fathers and to your kindred, and I will be with you." Encouraged by this divine assurance, Jacob called Rachel and Leah to the field where his flocks grazed. He poured out his heart to them, explaining how their father's attitude had changed and how he had been cheated repeatedly. 10 times Laban had changed his wages. Yet God never allowed Laban to harm him. Jacob shared a dream he'd had, where an angel of God appeared and revealed how he had seen all Laban's unjust dealings. The angel confirmed God's hand in multiplying Jacob's flocks and instructed him to return home. Rachel and Leah were united in their response. They too felt abandoned by their father, who had sold them and spent their dowry. "Do whatever God has told you," they said. Seizing the opportunity while Laban was away shearing sheep, Jacob gathered his wives, children, flocks, and possessions and fled. Unknown to him, Rachel stole her father's household idols, perhaps for sentimental reasons or out of resentment. 3 days later, Laban was informed of their escape. Enraged, he gathered his relatives and pursued Jacob, catching up with him 7 days later in the hill country of Gilead. But God, always faithful to protect Jacob, appeared to Laban in a dream that night. "Be careful not to say anything to Jacob, either good or bad," the Lord warned. When they met, Laban accused Jacob of deceit and questioned him about the stolen idols. Jacob, unaware of Rachel's actions, confidently declared that whoever was found with the idols would die. Rachel, cunning and calm, hid the idols under a camel's saddle and sat on them, claiming she couldn't rise due to her condition. Laban searched everywhere but found nothing. With righteous anger, Jacob rebuked Laban, recalling how he had served tirelessly in the scorching heat and freezing nights, how Laban had cheated him repeatedly, and how it was only by God's protection that he now stood wealthy and free. Finally, the two made a covenant. They built a heap of stones and named it Gilead and Mizpah. Laban said, "May the Lord watch between you and me when we are absent one from another." It was both a prayer and a warning neither would cross the heap to harm the other. They sealed the agreement with a sacrifice and a meal. In the morning, Laban kissed his daughters and grandchildren goodbye and returned home. Jacob, now liberated and overflowing with God's blessing, turned his face toward Canaan. He was no longer just a servant or a refugee. He was the head of a household, father to a growing nation, and chosen by God to carry forth the promise.
Did you enjoy the story? Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. This motivates us to create more Bible-inspired stories to share with you. God bless you.